Yeah, didn't go our way, obviously. Senior night that a lot of kids that are special to this program played their hearts out, and unfortunately it didn't go our way. That's a good football team. I want to say that first and foremost. Bowling Green's very talented. They have a lot of weapons, offensively, defensively. They got a great coaching staff. They did a great job executing their game plan. All right. But we, unfortunately, put ourselves in some bad situations that we just couldn't dig ourselves out of, especially early and throughout the entire game. So hats off to them. And we got to get back to work here this week to figure out a way to go on the road and win at Ohio.
Seems like the third quarter was kind of when Bowling Green put their foot down and kind of submitted. What went wrong from you and the things?
You know, the biggest thing is we couldn't find traction on offense. We really weren't getting the hits in the running game that we were expecting, and we couldn't get in rhythm in the passing game. And I felt like we were always backed up, trying to come out of the shadow of our end zone, and you know, we just couldn't find that rhythm. I do think our defense had a good plan, especially in the first half. Did a great job holding them to 10, and you know, for the possessions we had in the first half, we couldn't capitalize enough to really put the game where they were stressed. All right, and then they got the ball second half, and you know, we couldn't match them, you know, score for score. So we got to get back to work because you know, it's not going to get any easier. We had some more guys that got banged up. So the more you play guys who aren't as experienced, you know, the more we got to make sure the game plan is tailored to our best playmakers, and we got to get back to work here, you know, starting tomorrow and figuring that out.
You said the offense just couldn't really find traction. Why do you think that is?
You know, like I said, give credit to them. They're a good defense. They've got some talented corners. They're really talented up front, and they got two older linebackers that are really good players. You know, they put a little heat on us. And for one reason or another, without talking to him, you know, put our quarterback in some tough situations where, you know, he just couldn't find where to go with the football. And I think he held it a little bit longer than he wanted to at times. And, you know, they got to us. So usually we're catch, ball out, you know, and we're in more rhythm, more in sync. And I just didn't feel that tonight. But, you know, we got to get back to work. We got to watch the tape. We got to figure out, you know, where the breakdowns were and get those things corrected.
You mentioned just the pressures that were on Caden. Obviously, as a former offensive lineman, how does it feel when you are an offensive lineman and you know that your unit is kind of allowing some pressures?
You know, it's football. First thing I want to say is, you know, we had two young men tonight playing out of position. We started the game with a young man starting at right guard who ended up getting injured. We had to move Tarantino into guard and play Cody Smith, you know, and you know, say what you want. I thought Cody played outstanding, you know, for a guy who a year ago was playing defensive line and never played offensive line. You know, when you watch it and what I think when you watch the tape, you know, we just didn't get open. That's my feeling. When you hold the ball longer than you want to and you have no place to go, you know, you're going to take some sacks. Now, that's me speculating. But, you know, as a former offensive lineman, it's football. It's coaching. Obviously, we got to attack the tape, and, you know, but I don't get the sense that those guys were just giving up, you know, a lot of pressures. I feel like it was targeted pressures with blitzes and things of that nature, and, you know, we just didn't get the ball out in time. But, you know, make no mistake, it's not going to get any easier. You know, we got to continue to work and put ourselves in a position where we can convert some of those downs.
They really kind of dominated with time of possession. Does that change the offensive game plan or approach?
Well, what it changes is the defensive game plan and approach. You got to play a lot more guys on defense. They're on the field a lot. You know, from the offensive perspective, you know, quite frankly, a game like tonight, we're trying to find our footing and was trying to figure out, hey, what can we do to, get this ball and matriculate it down the field. But what it really affects is the defense. And when they've got you, with your backs against the wall and, they're staying on the field and converting third downs, it really makes it tough because now it wears them out. I thought Jeff Knowles did a phenomenal job calling the defense. I thought he did a phenomenal job putting those guys in position to make plays. We got to make better plays, especially on third down. We had a couple times where we had an opportunity to get the ball on the ground, and we just didn't get it done. So, that's on us, falls on me. But also at the same time, we got to get back to work and put our guys in some situations so that they can make those plays here on Saturday.
You were told you'd be the interim a week ago today.
Mm-hmm.
How have you noticed the players and the staff adjust to that change throughout the week?
The players have been behind me 100%, and I can feel that. I think it's natural that, there's a little bit of, what's going on, a little bit of questions in terms of, hey, is it going to be the same or not? I try my best to keep the program in terms of what we do. It's the same as what we've been doing. The last thing I wanted was for the players to get off their schedule, just because I believe in one thing or another. I wasn't going to do that to them. All right. So I was asked to lead this program. I was not asked to change this program. Right. So I wanted to make sure that we kept them to a schedule as far as practice and meetings and everything else goes. But I felt like the players were behind me from a voice standpoint, from a leadership standpoint. Our coaches, like I said, when you work with those guys for as long as you have, for a couple of them, and certainly the guys that have come in this year, we've bonded together pretty good. It's tough for me to just leave my role on the offensive side and just completely switch over to the defensive side. I can't do that. So I made the concerted effort to let Jeff Knowles run that defense. He's been doing it for a long, long time. He's done it at a high level. So I wanted to make sure I was still working with the offense to make sure we build a good game plan. And I will do the same here this week, right? I want to make sure that the roles stay the same. We continue to attack it just like we have and put our players in the best situation to win.
You've been in the locker room for a loss before. What was it like heading into that locker room knowing those guys are looking at you now?
It didn't have anything to do with them looking at me. It had everything to do with knowing that for a certain group of them, this was their last time in this locker room playing a game in Schumann Stadium, and that hurt. It hurt because they pour their hearts into it. For 4 or 5 years of their life, they've been a Ball State football player, and they poured their heart into what we've been doing here. They believed in what we've been doing here. I told the men that, this is life. You don't always win. You don't always get what you want. We certainly worked our tails off to put ourselves in this position to win, and it didn't pan out that way. We got to get back to work, figure out why not, all right, and proceed forward. But understand the lesson here. Just because it's a special day for us, we still got to go and earn it. And that's like anything in life. We got to earn the things that we want.
You talked about preparation. Is there anything in last week's preparation that you plan to kind of change and adapt to in the week heading forward?
No. Like I said, I don't want to change anything that we've done. Let's be honest, right? The players are the players. The coaches are the coaches. There's no magic pill to this. Bowling Green's a really good football team. They got a quarterback playing at a high level. They have a running back that's going to be an all-MAC player. They've got a phenomenal offensive line. And they got a bunch of receivers that just came out and made plays, right? We're going to see the same thing next week. It's no secret. We've got to be able to match the intensity. We got to be able to match the playmaking ability. We've got to be able to stay on the field on third down on offense. We got to be able to get off the field on third down on defense. There's no magic pill to that. Right? The players got to make the plays, and we got to put them in the best position to make those plays. So we're going to go to work, back to work with the same preparation, with the same mindset, attacking the same things. Tuesday is first, second down, offense, defense. Wednesday, third down and red zone, right? And we're going to put our focus in there, and we're going to make sure we put together a plan that gives them a chance to win. So I thought the kids played hard. I really did. I really did. I didn't see anybody quit on me. We just didn't make the necessary plays.
With this week being your first week as the interim coach, it all has kind of culminated in this moment. What were the emotions like leading the team out onto the field as head coach?
I mean, well, it was pretty cool. Obviously, it's really cool for the fact that I get to lead the seniors out in the field for the last time. But you tend to not dwell on that. You got a ball game that you got to get ready for and get into. Believe me, guys, I don't want this to turn into the Colin Johnson show, because believe me, I'm just a small piece of this thing. It's about those young men that just went out there on the field and poured their hearts out. Certainly, I got to get back in there and pick them up because they're hurting. But, yeah, it was really cool. It was. But there's a whole lot of kids in that locker room who's not feeling good about what just happened out there on that field.
How do you kind of go forward into this week, knowing, with the disappointment of the last loss in the home game? How do you kind of manage those emotions with another game still to play?
Well, that's my voice that's got to let them know that we got to put all our focus into this coming week. It's a short week, right? We don't have a lot of time to get ready for Ohio. We play them there Friday. And so, we got to put the heartache, the emotion of this one behind us, and we got to put our work together, because tomorrow's going to be a long day for our staff, and then Monday we're on the practice field. So the players won't get a lot of time off. So we got to do a good job in putting some things in front of their eyes tomorrow in terms of the tape and some points for Ohio so that they can study, and when they come in on Monday, we're ready to get to work and moving ahead on Ohio. Can't dwell on this one, though.
We've been told, even when you were given this role, that the biggest reason is because of how well you work with the players in particular. Knowing that when you walked into that locker room that they were going to be emotional and upset, what was your message to them, and what's your plan to help them move on from this quickly?
Exactly what I just told you guys, that you don't always get what you want. Unfortunately, we didn't play well enough. I thought the defense, I was very complimentary of the defense, and I told them I thought they did a lot of good things out there, a lot of things that, if we matched that intensity on the offensive side, it would have been a different ball game. And I told the offense, I think we're a pretty good offense. We just didn't make the plays today to keep us in that thing. But then after that, because, they know what happened out there. I wanted to make sure I let them know how much I love them. I've been in their shoes. This is a lesson, and the lesson that they got to carry with them for the rest of their life, because they're all going their different ways, but they're all going to become great men, great husbands, great co-workers, great bosses. And they have to understand that it's not always going to be success that's out there. They got to be able to learn from the heartache and the things that, don't go their way. But every single person in there, I told them I love them. And we hugged it out. It was emotional. But after tonight, we got to get back to work here tomorrow.
Anything more for Coach? Okay, we've got Vaughn Pemberton and Riley Tolsma on their way.
Thank you.
Appreciate you guys.
Open for questions.
So, we heard a lot from Colin just now about how emotional the locker room was. What was it like as a player, just knowing that a lot of these guys, it's their last time playing here?
I mean, it's really tough, going around, dapping up all the seniors, talking to them. It's really tough. Like me, I have another year left, so I have games left. But for them, it's the last one here with us, and it's very, very tough to see their faces, see them crying. I'm sure we all went through it when we were juniors in high school playing football, and when the seniors, after the last home game, are emotional. It's very tough. And just telling them that I love them, and my number's always open for them. And that we got one more together, so let's ride this next week.
Well, and you kind of just mentioned it there. The big message also from Colin was that you got to move on quickly. You got to put this behind you quickly. What is your plan in terms of pushing this to the foreside quick?
I mean, at the end of the day, I think I said it last time I had the media interview. We still have another opportunity to play football at the end of the day, and we all love this sport, and we all love to play at the end of the day. So you get another opportunity, what are you going to do with it? That's all it is. That's all that's in my mind. We got practice on Tuesday or Monday because it's a short week. We play on Friday, so attack those days and attack the game, and it'll go well. I hope.
Where does that mentality or like perspective come from, where it's like we still have opportunities to play football?
I would say, growing up, my dad would always instill that in me. I was around a lot of people growing up that would instill that mentality in me. Like, for example, Olin Kreutz, he played for the Bears for years. I trained with him whenever I go home, and I was on the phone with him earlier yesterday, and, he talks to me. He's like, kill everything out there. Go do what you need to do. And same thing with other guys. My high school coach played in the league for some years, and he always put that mentality in everybody that played for him, just to always go attack whenever you get the opportunity. Don't take anything for granted. And with me missing all the games I've missed throughout my career here, I never take it for granted, ever. No practice, no game, like ever, no single rep, ever. Just because you never know when it's going to be your last one.
Does your son play a factor in that too?
Of course, man. I love my son. He motivates me so much. It's too cold for him out there today, so he's at my apartment watching it with my family. But man, he drives me so much. I can't say enough about him. Even though he can't talk, he can't walk. He just sits there and screams. And he actually said "Dada" the other day, so that made my whole week. But yeah, he plays a huge factor in my life in general and why I do things the way I do them.
Was that the first time, like at least?
Oh yeah. My girl, they were back home because she worked, so she couldn't be here throughout the week. But she sent me the video, and I immediately called her on FaceTime, tried to get him to do it again, but he didn't. Yeah.
How often are you thinking of him and just your upbringing while you're actively playing on the field?
Oh, all the time. I know he's not going to remember any of these games watching me, but I know someday I'll be able to turn on the film and show him, like, if he wants to play running back, show him, like, hey, like, you see that right there? That's what I want you, And so whenever that day comes, it's, I'm always thinking about it. I always think about, like, the way I present myself is a reflection of him and my girlfriend and my parents. So it's always on my mind.
Yeah. Would you say that he and your girlfriend and your family helped you get through the rough, like, past year with the injuries and how these past 2 seasons have gone?
Most definitely. They've been there a lot for me, especially with my injury last year. I was fighting to get back and everything, and then we had just found out that my girlfriend was pregnant at the time, and I obviously wasn't planned, but I wouldn't trade it for the world. Just everything that's gone down in the past year, I love my life right now. I'm about to go home, see my son, and I'm going to forget all about this loss and all about the game, and just hug him and watch him do whatever he's going to do when I get home. So.
Do you think, like, even for some of the players on this team, most of the players on this team don't have children, do you think that there is something for other players to take away from kind of how you process losses and just tough times?
I think there definitely could be. I always focus on not bringing anything negative home to them. It's something Coach Wanger told me when I first found out that my girlfriend was pregnant, because I was like, man, what am I gonna do? And he calmed me down and was like, look, like, at the end of the day, you're gonna love it, but what you got to focus on is, after a bad game, after a bad loss, you go home, you forget all about it, and you just focus on just being with your son, being with your family at the end of the day. And it sucks because we lost, and I really wanted to get this win for Coach Johnson and for all the seniors and all that. So it sucks, but at the end of the day, you got to move on from it, and we got one more opportunity. So.
How has the past week looked, just with everything that's going on with the coaching changes?
I mean, everything has been. We've had some really good practices. Everybody's upbeat at practice. Coach Johnson has done a great job with that, about keeping us upbeat and keeping us, like, ready. At the end of the day, like I said earlier, we have an opportunity, so make the most of it. It's guys on this team that want to play in the league. And somebody's always watching. So.
Offense really seemed to struggle to get going today. Obviously, you got some momentum going with that long touchdown of yours at the end of the half there. But what do you think kind of went wrong, especially in the second half coming out?
We just honestly we couldn't get anything going really, none in the passing game or the run game really. I know TJ had a nice little 12-yard run, but we really we were struggling to get something going. And then we're gonna look at the film. We're gonna find a way to fix all the problems that we had, and
Coach talked about in offensive line injuries kind of playing a role in the offense's struggles there. How much does that affect you running behind different guys in different positions?
In all honesty, they did a great job. The replacements that came in for Meter and for Luke Dalton, they did a great job. So they were doing their job. Couldn't be more proud of Cody Smith. Taryn moves to guard. But yeah, I couldn't be proud of Cody Smith. He held his own he moved from D-line to O-line this past year. And this was really the first playing time he's had all year. And he held his own from what I saw on the tablets on the sideline. So I couldn't be more proud of him. And I think the line did a great job adjusting. Taryn did a great job at guard today. But at the end of the day, I had some holes that I missed. Saw it on the sideline. Could have taken some front side when I just jammed it in the middle. But, at the end of the day, we got to watch the film and learn from it.
What's that feeling like when just nothing seems to work on the offensive side of the ball?
With the tablets on the sideline, it definitely helps because we could see everything that's going on. But the feeling is just like, man, try something else. We were getting something going on that last drive. But, it is what it is. You got to move on from it. Can't dwell on it in the middle of a game, especially.
How much motivation does this loss, especially being seniors, kind of drive into their final game, which is next week?
I think all the seniors are gonna bring their best next game and throughout this whole week, even though it's a short week. I think they're gonna bring their best. I have faith in them, just like how they have faith in me.
All right, Vaughn, thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, sir. Appreciate your time.
Obviously, your situation is a bit different, transferring in here, but still, you've immersed yourself in this team. How have you done that, I guess, in the short time with this team?
I mean, I've just really done everything I can to work with these guys and connect with everybody, and I feel like I've built a lot of close relationships with a lot of people on the team, even though I've only been here since January. I feel like I've just really developed a bond with a lot of guys on the team.
Yeah, and we've talked to a lot of guys about why they chose Ball State, and I'm not sure if we've talked to you about that. What was it about this team that stuck out to you?
I mean, I really just like the coaching staff and the kind of, because I didn't talk to that many players on my visit in the portal, but I really just like the atmosphere the coaches created and what they believed in, and how they cared about the players as men, not just players. So.
It's only been obviously a week since, but did you get the sense that any of that coaching staff mentality has changed at all in the last week?
I mean, not really. I think Johnson and Coach New were kind of on a similar page. Obviously, everybody does things differently in their style of coaching, but I think they both believe in the same things, and they believe in how we're going to head in the right direction.
What was your reaction when you found out about Mike's firing?
I mean, obviously, I felt bad for Coach because I know what he's done and what he's put into this program, both as a coach and as a player over the years. But I mean, you kind of sad for a day, but you got to just move on to the next, because with that at that time being 2 more games, you can't really dwell on the past. You kind of just got to move forward.
Yeah. Obviously, you being a grad student, you've kind of had to learn and grow in the fact that in this sport you have to move on from anything, whether it's a win or a loss or a coaching change. How do you feel like you've grown in that area?
Yeah, I mean, I've just experienced a lot more, even in this short time, because at Hillsdale for my 4 years, there was a lot of continuity. We had essentially the same coaching staff for 4 years because our head coach was there for 20. So there's just a lot more change, a lot faster in Division I. So I just had to adjust to that.
Has it been difficult?
New challenges. I wouldn't say it's impossible. Just had to adapt.
Obviously, you had 2 sacks today, and Colin just said that he felt like the defense played well today. What was your honest assessment of the defense today?
Yeah, I mean, I think we played well. I think we made some plays, but at the end of the day, obviously, they made more plays than us. So looking forward to next week, we'd like to make some more plays.
they have a lot of receiving threats and even good running backs as well. But what was it in particular about their offense that gave the defense a bit of trouble?
I mean, obviously, the tight end, Harold Fannin, he's a great player. The running back's a great player. And their Bowling Green as an offense just really doesn't make mistakes. They just execute really well. So that was what it comes down to. We make a couple mistakes, and they just don't make as many. So that's why they out-executed us today.
Talking about like having those relationships with players, you've only been here 11 months. What's it like to have so many like really strong relationships with players in such a short time frame?
I mean, I think it just means more if you're that connected to people. You're naturally just going to play harder, and it just is more impactful when you have that relationship with people than if you're just putting on the jersey with random people.
I mean, who are some guys in this 11-month period that have really connected with you the most?
I've gotten really close with Nathan Reichert because he plays D-tackle right next to me. Ben Marsh is my backup defensive end, and really just the D-line as a whole. I've gotten close with a lot of guys there.
With the D-line, being so experienced on senior day, just what was that moment like in the locker room post-game?
I mean, it was tough. I'm not going to lie to you. It was really bittersweet because we've put all this work, and the season just didn't turn out how I wanted to. So it was tough.
All right.
Thanks, Riley.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Riley, thank you.
Thank you.